Hello everybody, this is Caesar Stihan with More Options Coaching, and this is a blog about what do you do about it? What do you do about the change when you see that a change is needed in others or in yourself? What do you do about it? You see, a few days ago a friend of mine asked me, what do you do? And I explained to him that I assist people getting more creative on the way they design and run their lives. And he says, oh, you're pretty much like a life coach, isn't it? I don't know about you, but I don't really like the term coach. Nothing wrong with the word or with the concept in general. I just don't like the word. I don't know, it's something personal. When I think of a coach, I'm imagining that strong, aggressive guy on the edge of the field, yelling all kind of things at the players. And you know what kind of things he's yelling. Or maybe that coach on the gym. And when you're doing push-ups, he's right above you and he's screaming at you, give me one more, you can do it, give me one more, you know, stuff like this. And no, I'm not yelling at my clients, no I don't. But you know what, I'm thinking that perhaps I should. Maybe I should change my style. Because you see, those coaches, they get results. And I'm all for results, so yeah, I might consider that, I don't know. You see, I have this other friend who's a very good person. I don't have a problem in particular, but he kind of learned over time to allow the circumstances around him to take over his feelings, to cloud his judgment. So he's basically, how should I put it? He's basically complaining all the time. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. He's mainly complaining all the time. That happened, the other thing is stressful, that person is against. It's like an entire conspiracy. It is around the world against him. In every little aspect that happens around him, actually that's a sign there is a conspiracy going on. And I tried in the past things that we all do when we are with friends like that. We try to comfort them, and we try to show them, hey, maybe it's not like that. Maybe, look, you should look at this particular event. Maybe if you look this way, maybe if you take this perspective, maybe you're going to see something different. Try to comfort them somehow. And if you're like me, you'll probably notice that that kind of strategy doesn't really help. For some reason, doesn't really help. It's like his ego was taking my input as a fuel to feed even more on this complaining mode. He was taking my input as a sign of attention, which basically enforces that story that the ego tried to promote. And at one moment in time I thought that maybe I should change something, just change something. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to just ignore it. I'm going to just ignore it. Let's see what happens. So next time when we got together and he started with his usual routine, I just ignored it. I allowed him to continue, but I didn't really pay any attention. Maybe I even asked a totally irrelevant question, unconnected with whatever he was saying. And at one moment he noticed that something is different. And he turned to me and asked, is something wrong? I mean, I did something, are you upset or something? I said, no, I'm not upset. I just don't care about what you're saying. And he made some big eyes. What? He said, I'm sure you had a feel that I would care about your complaints, about the fact that everybody is conspiring around you against you, and that you're so stressed and everybody's doing something to you, and that's why you can't do that or the other. But if you have that impression, let me spell it for you. I don't care. So just for you to know, I really do. And I'm a caring person, but I have to tell him, I don't care. So you can continue talking about that, but I'll tell you up front again. I really don't care. And you know why? It's not that I have something with you, as I said, but or I don't care about you as a person, but I don't care about those complaints. And why I don't care is because you haven't asked one single time. You haven't asked, what can I do about it? You didn't. You haven't asked. What can I do about it? You kept complaining, and every time when I tried to induce a different thought, a different perspective, or anything like that, you just discarded it and continued going on with whatever thought you had before. So it's easy to, or it's natural to draw the conclusion that actually you don't care about changing something. You just care about fueling this story where everything is conspiring against you. And I'm not interested in that. I appreciate you as a person, but these stories, I'm not interested in them. I don't care about them. And if you think that is harsh, if you think that, oh, you're harsh, I mean, come on, I didn't think you, I thought you were a good person. If you think that when you have a friend and he's complaining to you, if you think you're doing a good thing by going along with his story, think of that. If that person would come to you with a cut on his finger and say, oh, I cut my finger and it hurts. Consider if you would go to that friend and say, oh yes, it hurts, and let this make it a little bit larger, and yes, it hurts, isn't it? And just put a little bit, no, let's take a knife and cut a little bit more to make it a little bit, no. Would you do that to a friend? Would you reinforce his cut on the finger? No. You either go and put some band-aid or something like that, or will try to comfort him somehow in the respect that he will do something about it. You're not fueling his idea that he came here, oh, look, I hurt. No. You wouldn't say, hey, yes, it hurts, and you should hurt even more, and yes, you're right. All those knives are all against you. You know, those knives are conspiring against you, and you're really a victim. You should, you know, you're really a poor person. Hey, what can you do? There's nothing you can do about it. You wouldn't do that in relationship with a finger cut. You would do something about it, right? Well, why would we treat the psychological ideas or concepts or thoughts, why would we treat those differently? Why would we treat this conspiracy mode differently? Instead of fueling it, do something about it. So if you have a friend which is continuously in this particular mode, instead of trying to fuel his ego with whatever idea he's bringing up by thinking that you're doing a good thing, a better thing to do is just to ignore it. Just ignore it, because his ego is feeding on your attempts to comfort. You see, those attempts to comfort will not produce any change, but will only enhance his ego in making that pain even more powerful. Think of that. So just ignore it. Just ignore it. And it's not like you're not caring. Actually, you're doing a good thing. You're doing a good thing because you're not fueling the ego, and by not fueling the ego will slowly go away. So his true self will be able to rise up, and he will think, that true self will think, I better do something about it. Because you know what happened? Once I had that conversation with my friend, once I told him pretty bluntly that I don't care, and he knew that I'm a caring person, what I noticed was that actually he relaxed, and he stopped feeding those stories, and he tried actually to be a more pleasant person, and he actually came up with some ideas, something, well, maybe it's not like that, or, you know, he came up with some refrains. You see? So when you stop feeding the ego will fly away. And I had this image, maybe I'm a little bit out there, but I had this image where actually his ego was looking at the entire situation, and after that ego noticed that Caesar said, I don't care, so firmly, I felt, or I sense that that ego kind of deflated and probably thought something like, well, I guess it's nothing for me here to feed anymore. This guy, this Caesar, won't give me anything else from now on to feed on, so I might just go somewhere else. This is the image that I had in mind. Now, the question that I have for you is that if you find yourself in this kind of complaining mode, that we all slide once in a while, some of us longer, some of us stronger, some of us just once in a while. But if you find yourself in this kind of situation, what do you do then? Are you feeding the same mode with the same stories? Oh yes, that happened to me, and yes indeed, that guy is really against me, and all that class and all that group was against me and was conspiring against me, and the nature was conspiring. You see, it's raining outside, that's a conspiracy against me. Are you feeding those stories, or are you just looking at them for what they are? Outside is raining, that guy said something, that person just behaved in a particular way, without necessarily assigning a meaning that is a conspiracy against me. I believe the second alternative is a little bit better. And once you do that, try this. If whatever you do is not bringing you closer to the results you want to have, do something else. Choose something in your strategy. Choose something in whatever you're doing and do it differently. No matter how crazy it might seem, just do it differently. And then pay attention. Is the new result closer to what you want, or is further away? If it is closer, continue doing that. If it is further away, then come back and choose something else to do different. So I know it's not a new concept, but it's worth repeating. If what you do doesn't bring you the results you want, do something else. Do something else. Choose something and do something else. Let me know how did that work for you. Until next time, take good care.